Good afternoon, Mark. It's a pleasure to have you. We really appreciate that you were able to find some time to talk to us and to do the SpeedShare 3 questions, 3 minutes. I will let you introduce yourself. You have a fascinating background and incredible experience in motorsport, and I think it will be very interesting for our audience to discover more about you. I'll say a quick word about SpeedShare. SpeedShare was founded 11 years ago. Our reason to be is to help mostly Western companies come into Asia and help them develop in the motorsport, automotive, recreational products business from no presence to a full-fledged presence and be able to find clients and start a business in Asia. So that's what we've been doing for the past 11 years now. We have an office in Hong Kong and an office in Montreal. We're now starting to implement a new service where we help Asian businesses come into North America as well. Mark, I'll let you introduce yourself and your company, and then we'll get into the 3 questions, 3 minutes.
Sure. Well, thank you for the invitation, Benjamin. I appreciate it. And just for your audience, I'm the Managing Director and owner of MRK1 Consulting. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I've worked in everything from grassroots marshalling and rallying right the way through to Formula 1 and MotoGP. Our company has been established in 2013 to help clients either develop, construct and operate new motorsport facilities. And we also help people with existing facilities review their business model, make improvements and improve sustainability.
Excellent, thank you. And then once we get into the 3 questions, 3 minutes, then I guess at one point we'll explain that our paths have crossed on some projects in mainland China. So that's also interesting to mention. The first question I have for you, and we have for you, Mark, is the past 18 months. It's puzzling for everybody. How have people adapted? Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have actually thrived with new products during the pandemic. Obviously, automotive in a way has grown in some areas and also has been disrupted, but motorsport has suffered for sure. And it's interesting, I think, for audience to understand how in your area of expertise and your niche, area, in terms of circuit consulting, but obviously there's a lot of other things that you do. How has that been affected? How have you managed to keep consulting on projects? And then the other questions will probably go a little bit more in depth on some of that.
Sure. I think if we cast our mind back to early 2020 and when the pandemic first started, we were very fortunate. We were well into the construction of the new circuit in Lombok in Mandalika in Indonesia, which is a new MotoGP. It's the first MotoGP street circuit ever to be done. And our clients in Indonesia didn't slow down wherever possible. We had some issues with continue to move forward. And we were also very lucky to land some other new projects, predominantly in the Middle East at the same time. We're based in the Middle East, so that was less of a challenge for us. But we have certainly seen motorsport is very adaptable. It's very dynamic. It's very good at making use of new technology. And I think that they were very quick. Our clients and ourselves and some of our suppliers were very quick to adapt to this new modern age of video conferencing and using technology to continue dialogue. And that's been absolutely critical. We've been very active in the use of things like drones to monitor construction of our circuit projects. We've even carried out circuit inspections and inspections of asphalt and things through the use of drones, through high definition cameras, and regular meetings with our clients. And it's been fascinating. There've been some challenges, there've been some pitfalls, and it's not the same as being on the ground during construction, but it hasn't been as difficult as we had feared. Okay.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's the first time I hear this, and I think definitely, I mean, using drones for construction meetings, it must be incredible, especially now with the high definition cameras, as you say. And so congratulations for finding ways and reacting really fast. And it brings us into our question number 2, which is, how have you adapted your business model, and have track projects in Asia been on hold or not? It seems you're saying that it hasn't really been on hold, but if you can say a few words on that. And then on your side, have you moved some of your activities and strengthened other areas of your business, or has it stayed the same?
Yeah, we've faced a lot of challenges, and one of our biggest challenges has been the movement of people. As everybody knows, with COVID, it isn't as easy just to jump straight on a plane and go to a different destination. And we've had 2 projects in the last 12 months where we've had to deploy staff, and that has been very challenging. Just getting visas, getting permission to fly, going through the test process, making sure that everyone's got the right paperwork. So there have been some particular challenges that we've faced, and we've managed to overcome them with the support of our clients. We're very lucky that most of our clients are government entities, so we're able to make sure we get good contacts with immigration, with the airlines, with the relevant government departments that are able to facilitate these projects. And these projects are of national importance. These are, one in Indonesia in particular is very much monitored by the president of Indonesia. He takes a personal interest. He's been to the site to visit the construction progress, and he wants this project to be a success. He wants to put Lombok on the global map, on the world map, and we've managed to overcome those challenges. Where we've had to adapt, we've certainly adapted in terms of meetings, and I think that it's been quite a relief that the number of meetings hasn't slowed down, but it's meant that people from all corners of the globe have been able to take part in meetings at a convenient time. Communication has continued. We've had to invest in some new video conferencing technology, which we haven't really used before. As I mentioned on the previous question, we've invested in some drone technology as well. And just last week we did a circuit inspection in Lombok, where we walked the track using a drone, where our circuit manager was on the ground there, and we followed him as he looked at the drainage, he looked at the curbs, he looked at the asphalt, gravel traps, and the fencing, and we were able to. It felt like we were side by side with it. It was quite extraordinary.
Wow, fascinating, and then really, really interesting to hear that. To see how much, even though this is a real brick and mortar track building construction project, you are able to do remotely. That's and involve other people. I think that's fascinating. So congratulations for being able to do this. And our final question is more about your opinion and your feeling about the motorsport facilities in Asia. We've heard lots and lots of new projects trying to start or to be started by different governments, different countries. In the past few years, you've said you were involved in a few new projects at the moment that are going on. What's your feeling about the new facilities, motorsport facilities in Asia? Is it changing? Is it becoming more entertainment, car testing, private tracks, or is it staying a little bit in the same, focusing on larger championships like F1, MotoGP, for new venues?
I think, from my perspective, tracks have always had to be sustainable. I started my circuit career at Brands Hatch in the UK, which is probably the most commercial circuit in Europe. It's incredibly busy, and the racing is nice to have, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
Circuits do racing for various different reasons. Governments support racing to promote a destination or a city or a country, but invariably you're lucky if a major international race event breaks even. What you have to do is look at the sustainable model around that, and there are various different ways of making a circuit sustainable, whether that's the commercial real estate around the track, and we're seeing a boom in private member club tracks around the world, with luxury villas alongside circuits with wonderful views, where people that are petrol heads can keep their track car and go on track a certain number of days a year. That's becoming very popular, and I think that's where our paths crossed in China at the Zhejiang circuit, which is very much a members club. Manufacturers are always looking for track time to demonstrate their products. As the roads become busier, it's much harder to demonstrate the cars at their best on the road. And with sports cars in particular, you can't safely demonstrate them on a public road. You want to demonstrate how quickly these cars accelerate, how well they handle, and it would be very irresponsible to do that on a public highway. So a circuit is the only place to do that. And in markets where car sales are still accelerating, like China, for example, we're seeing that all of the tracks in China are very, very busy. We're getting constant inquiries from China for new facilities. But it's not just China. We're working on a couple of projects in Thailand, one in Cambodia, a couple of inquiries from India. So the Asian market is still very buoyant. And I asked one client recently, what was the determining factor in looking to build a track. And the pandemic has kind of led to his decision. He said, look, people in my country need things to do domestically. We can't take it for granted any longer that we can leave the country and find things to do. So I want people to be able to do things in my hometown. So he's looking at a go-karting track, a drag racing facility and a race circuit, as well as other entertainment, such as kids zones and rope parks and climbing walls. So he's looking at a multi-entertainment facility that people can still do, even if they're trapped in their home country.
Right. That's a really good point. I think it's key at the moment. Like, as we were saying just before we started this call, that we were taking for granted that we could travel all over the world, just jump on a plane and go to any meeting or any, see people, meet people, and now things have changed, and maybe we're rethinking this. And I think it's a really interesting idea to say we need to provide entertainment and things to do in your own country, even if countries are neighbors and very easy to get to. And I mean, my experience is similar to yours. And as I said earlier, we were working indirectly but together on a project on the Zhejiang project in China, because we're involved in the karting part of the project. And that's, again, it seems something that is now almost, some big projects I think were done just because they wanted the glory of being able to welcome Formula One. But it seems like now at least karting has to be part of it as an introduction to motorsport and an introduction to racing. And then, as you say, climbing and laser tag and lots of other entertainments are being incorporated in those circuits, including membership for sports cars clubs and all that. So it's interesting that you feel the same. And I guess you're also recommending to your clients a similar setup so that they can immediately try to leverage fully their track, and not just hope that some race will come one day. So thank you, Mark, for this insight into your world of motorsport, which is really fascinating, and circuit building around Asia. And yeah, I'm sure our audience will be really interested to hear what you have to say on this. So thank you again. Thank you for being here today. And then we'll follow your further projects.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation, and long may motorsport continue.
Bye bye.